All right, so lutetium. You've been digging into it. That's smart. It's one of those elements that most people just kind of glance over. In this deep dive, we're going to find out it has some pretty amazing uses.
Yeah, it's one of those things that really flies under the radar.
We've got some info from Wikipedia, and we're going to unpack it all.
Mm.
Talk about this silvery white metal, last in the lanthanide series.
Oh, and that's a debate in itself, right?
Yeah. Is it even a lanthanide? Not super abundant, but get this.
Yeah.
It's actually more abundant than silver.
That always blows my mind. How can something be so rare and yet more common than, like, silver?
I know, right? So it's used in all this high-tech stuff, but no one's ever heard of it. How'd that work?
Well, the rare part comes in because even though there's more of it than silver, it's never found on its own. It's always hanging out with all the other rare earth elements.
So it's a pain to get at.
Huge pain. It's really hard to extract, which bumps up the price.
Makes it expensive.
Oh, yeah, almost as much as gold.
So even though it has all this potential, it's only practical for some very specific things.
Exactly. It's not your everyday element. It's reserved for the really, really cutting-edge applications.
Well, I'm hooked already. Let's talk about how it was discovered. I heard there was like a ton of drama around it.
Oh, tons of drama. Picture this, 1907. Everyone's racing to discover new elements, right? And then boom, not one, not two, but three different scientists all claim to have found lutetium.
A scientific showdown.
Right. You've got Jules Urbain in France, Karl Auer von Welsbach in Austria, and Charles James over in the U.S. All three found lutetium hiding as an impurity in ytterbia, which, up to that point, everyone thought was a pure element.
So three guys find it at basically the same time. How do we get to lutetium as the name?
Oh, that's where the real battle began.
Sounds like a good story.
Urbain and von Welsbach went head-to-head, arguing over what to call it. Ultimately, Urbain won, and he went with lutetium after Lutetia, the ancient Roman name for Paris.
Kind of a cool way to honor his city.
Right. But a lot of German scientists, they stuck with von Welsbach's name, Cassiopeum, for years after.
So what about the American scientist, Charles James? Was he part of this naming feud?
Interestingly, James kind of stayed out of it, and he had the largest supply of lutetium at the time, too.
Maybe he was too busy actually, doing science.
Yeah. Who cares what you call it, as long as you can study it.
So where can we find this elusive element?
It's all over the world, but it's never alone. Always mixed with other rare earth elements, especially yttrium, and that makes it even harder to isolate and extract, which again is why it's so expensive.
Speaking of rare earths, lutetium is considered the last element in that lanthanide series, right? But I read that some scientists think it shouldn't even be there. What's that all about?
See, this is where it gets interesting. So lutetium is technically the last of the lanthanides, but some folks think it acts more like a transition metal, more similar to, say, scandium or yttrium.
So like a rebel of the group.
Exactly. It's all about the way its electrons are arranged. It makes it super stable and super dense. In fact, it's got the highest density of any lanthanide.
Huh. So it's in the group, but it's got its own unique personality.
Totally.
So what can we actually do with this stuff? What are some of the applications of lutetium?
Well, for one thing, it's being explored for use in high-tech lenses used in something called lithography.
Lithography, okay. I've heard the word, but I'm not sure I can picture what that is.
It's basically etching super precise patterns onto surfaces. You know how we make computer chips?
Right. Super tiny.
Exactly. So all these tiny, intricate components, lithography is how we make them. And lutetium aluminum garnet, or LuAG, it's got this property that's perfect for this. It bends light in a way that helps create these really small, really detailed patterns.
So lutetium lenses are used in making computer chips.
It's like a super precise magnifying glass, allowing them to draw these microscopic circuits. Imagine trying to draw the tiniest line possible with a regular pencil.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Exactly. But with a super sharp, high-powered tool, you can achieve that detail. And that's what these LuAG lenses do for chip manufacturing.
Wow, fascinating. Never thought that lutetium would be involved in making, like, the technology we use every day.
Oh, there's so much more. It also has some really remarkable uses in medicine, too, particularly in cancer treatment.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about treating tumors earlier.
Exactly. We'll dive into all those details in just a bit.
Okay, so lutetium in medicine. You mentioned cancer treatments.
Right. So one of lutetium's radioactive isotopes, lutetium-177, it's being used in targeted radiation therapy, especially for these things called neuroendocrine tumors.
Now, hold on. If lutetium is so rare, so expensive, how can we use it for medical treatments? Wouldn't that make the treatments, like, crazy expensive?
That's a good question. And it's true, lutetium is pricey, but the amount you need for these treatments, it's incredibly small.
So we're talking tiny, tiny doses.
Microscopic. So yeah, the cost is actually manageable, especially when you consider the benefits for the patients.
Okay, that makes sense. So how does this targeted radiation therapy thing actually work?
You can think of it like a guided missile. They attach this Lu-177 to molecules that are basically attracted to tumor cells.
So it goes right to the tumor.
Pretty much. These molecules act like tiny delivery trucks,
Yeah.
carrying that radioactive lutetium straight to the tumor site and hopefully bypassing the healthy cells as much as possible.
So it's super precise, less damage to the rest of the body.
Exactly. Way more focused than traditional radiation therapy, which, can affect the surrounding tissues and cause more side effects.
Incredible. So is lutetium-177 used for any other types of cancer?
They're studying it, seeing if it has potential for other cancers, like prostate cancer and bone metastases. It's not just killing those cancer cells, it's also being looked at for pain relief associated with those bone metastases.
So improving the quality of life for patients.
Exactly. Still a lot of research to be done, but the early results are looking good.
You mentioned earlier about lutetium being used in a new type of atomic clock.
Oh, yeah, that's a really cool area of research.
It sounds so sci-fi.
It does, doesn't it? So they're working on atomic clocks that use lutetium ions, and these clocks, they could be even more accurate than the ones we use today.
And how much more accurate can you get? What difference does it even make?
Well, for everyday life, most of us wouldn't notice the difference, but for things like GPS navigation, telecommunications, scientific experiments, that extra accuracy, it's critical.
So for like GPS, if the clock's off even a little bit,
You could get lost. Every nanosecond of error in the clock can translate to a positional error. And in science, especially fields like cosmology and physics, you need that super accurate timekeeping to make those really precise measurements.
so even tiny, tiny improvements make a big difference.
Huge. Think about it. It's like trying to measure a piece of fabric, right? But your ruler has blurry markings.
You'll never get it right.
Exactly. You need those really fine, precise markings to get reliable results.
That makes a lot of sense. So those lutetium-ion atomic clocks sounds like they could be a game changer in a lot of ways. But back to something you said earlier, we've been talking about how it's used in all this high-tech stuff, how it's even present in our bodies, but it's super expensive, hard to extract. So are we going to run out of lutetium?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The demand for all these rare earth elements, including lutetium, is just going up and up.
So what can we do?
We need to figure out sustainable mining, better recycling methods, make sure we don't run out.
So being careful, making sure there's enough for the future.
Exactly. Balance, right. We want to use it for all these cool things, but we also want to be responsible with our planet's resources.
It's amazing, isn't it, how something like lutetium, which most people have never heard of, it can have such a big impact on technology, medicine, the whole planet.
It's all connected, the tiniest atoms, the biggest systems, it all ties together.
So before we finish up, is there anything else about lutetium that you find, I don't know, surprising, fascinating?
Well, it's been known for over 100 years, right? But we're still discovering new uses for it.
It's like it's still full of secrets.
Totally. There's always more to learn. Even these seemingly obscure elements, they can open up whole new possibilities.
It's a good reminder to keep asking questions, keep exploring.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we've covered a lot today. The discovery, the properties, the uses. We've gone from knowing almost nothing about lutetium to, well,
To having a pretty good grasp on why it's so important. It's this often overlooked element that's actually making a big splash in all these different fields.
medicine, high-tech manufacturing, even those incredibly precise atomic clocks, who would have thought?
Right. And we've also seen how, even though it's rare, it's expensive, it's being used in these really targeted, precise ways, treating tumors, making the tiny parts that power our digital world.
And we need to remember to use it responsibly, sustainably, make sure there's enough to go around.
Exactly. It's a shared resource, a global responsibility.
Well, I think it's safe to say that lutetium has a pretty bright future ahead of it.
I think so, too.
But before we close the book on lutetium, one last thought to leave you with. What if those lutetium-ion atomic clocks actually become a reality?
Wow, that's a big one. Imagine a world where we can measure time with that kind of precision.
What kind of discoveries could we make? How would it change technologies like GPS, telecommunications?
It's hard to even wrap your head around, and it makes you think, at what point does timekeeping get too precise?
Like, where's the line between theory and practicality?
Right. Makes you question the nature of time itself. Is there a limit to how small we can slice it? And if we keep pushing those boundaries, what new things will we find out about the universe?
Mind-blowing stuff. This whole deep dive into lutetium has really been eye-opening. It's amazing how something so small, so seemingly unimportant can be so profound.
It is, isn't it? It just goes to show there's always something new to discover.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for our deep dive into lutetium. Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure exploring with you.
Keep asking questions, stay curious. And who knows, maybe someday we'll revisit lutetium and find out even more amazing things about this element. Okay, so those lutetium-ion atomic clocks, those super accurate ones, what if they actually, become a thing, like a real thing?
It's pretty wild to think about, right? A world where we can measure time so precisely, what could we discover? How would it change GPS telecommunications?
It's almost impossible to, imagine the possibilities.
I know, it's mind-boggling.
Makes you wonder if at some point it becomes too much, like timekeeping gets too precise.
Yeah, where's the line? When does it become more theoretical than practical?
And then it makes you think about time itself.
Right. What even is time? Can we just keep slicing it smaller and smaller forever? And what will we find when we do?
It's a lot to think about. Lutetium, man. Who knew? This deep dive has really been something.
It's amazing what you can learn when you dig a little deeper.
I mean, it seems so small, so unimportant at first, but it turns out lutetium is pretty profound.
It really is.
It just goes to show there's always something new to discover, no matter where you look.
Absolutely. Never stop exploring.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for our deep dive into lutetium. Thanks for joining us. It's been a real pleasure.
It has. Always a good time talking about the elements.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll revisit lutetium, see what new discoveries have been made. Until then, keep those questions coming. Stay curious.